eligibility. And on behalf of the Board of County Commissioners, we administer federal, state, and local funding sources, primarily grant sources, that the county receives for housing, economic, and community development. In regards to housing, these are programs that fund new construction or acquisition and rehabilitation of housing development. We have some homebuyer assistance programs that help out first-time homebuyers in closing the gap in between what they can afford and the cost of a new home. And we also offer funding assistance for housing rehabilitation or renovations. This can be to correct code deficiencies for lower income homeowners, or to make certain retrofits that are needed, say to some elderly person's home, to keep them in that home and make it livable for them. But what I'm really here to talk about today is what we've been able to do in response to COVID. So last year, I'm sure you all recall, there was the initial stimulus act that was passed by the federal government back in March of 2020. Part of that act was $150 billion nationwide for this coronavirus relief fund. These dollars flowed down to states and counties and municipalities as well. And that coronavirus relief fund, or CRF, resulted in about $264 million coming directly to Palm Beach County for a whole variety of COVID-related uses. Essentially, the only strings that really came along with this money was that it had to be used for to prepare for, mitigate the effects of, or respond to the COVID-19 pandemic. That was like the language in the legislation which Congress passed. And the funds had to be expended by December of this past year. So, county utilized some of this funding to do two main things in regards to housing assistance. First, we had a mortgage assistance program. And I'm sorry, let me back up for a second. I'm going to give you a little bit of kind of what we did with the funds, the 6 months of last year, and then I'll go into what we currently have available for residents today. Mortgage assistance, we operated a program to provide emergency financial assistance to homeowners that had been financially impacted by COVID and were behind on their mortgages, HOA fees, what have you, and were facing the threat of foreclosure. All told, by the end of the year, by the end of December 2020, we're able to assist over 1,500 homeowners to prevent them from being foreclosed upon, and utilized about $12.2 million of that CARES assistance. The second use was a rental assistance program. This was implemented by the county's Department of Community Services. And again, this was emergency financial assistance, but instead of to homeowners in this case, it was to tenants to prevent either their eviction from the rental unit that they were in, or to prevent disconnection of essential utilities. All told, by the end of the year, 17,000 applications were processed and almost 12,000 were actually approved, paying out $22 million of assistance. So really, these were these programs turned out a huge volume of assistance that really the county had not operated on that type of scale until this stimulus act came along, and it was quite an effort, both by our department, by the Community Services Department, and other departments that were involved kind of on the periphery of the process to help make this all happen really quickly within the second half of 2020. So, as well, kind of don't want to miss out on this one. There was also some dollars that flowed from the Treasury through the state to the county. Smaller amount of funds, but still we were able to do some important work with them. You see the numbers up there, all told about $5.4 million that we're able to expend, assisting over 600 homeowners and renters. So what we currently have available for county residents. January 2021, there was an additional stimulus act. I think it was the same act that resulted in like the $600 payments to everyone. That particular act resulted in $45 million of federal emergency rental assistance funds that came to the county. Then in addition to that, the Board of County Commissioners allocated $6.5 million of federal community development block grant coronavirus funds. That was a special allocation of CDBG funds that came as a result of the Stimulus Act, though that $6.5 million for mortgage assistance. So those are the two sources that are currently available. And I'll go into how we're making these available to the folks that are out there in need. First of all, for our mortgage assistance. The mortgage assistance program is being implemented by the department which I work for, Housing and Economic Sustainability. It's emergency financial assistance to homeowners to prevent the loss of their primary home to foreclosure. The assistance will provide up to $10,000, maximum of $10,000, for no more than 6 months of delinquent mortgage principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, your PITI, HOA fees, condo dues, other late fees, and associated costs. The program can assist households that are up to 80% of area median income. So that income is adjusted by family size, but to give you an idea, for a family of 4, that upper income limit right now is $68,500 for a family of 4. If you went up to a family of 5, that dollar amount would be higher. If we were looking at a family of 3, it would be lower. To be eligible for this mortgage assistance, the homeowner must have suffered some financial hardship as a result of COVID. This could have been a loss of employment, a reduction in hours at their job. If they were a business owner, some loss of income as a result of a slowdown in their business. Any of this that transpired after March 1st, 2020, and kind of, when the pandemic really started to hit economically down here. The property which they're in arrears on and which they're seeking the assistance for must be their primary abode or homesteaded property. We're not looking to bail people out of trouble on their vacation home or on, say, an investment property, which they may be renting out, just your homesteaded property. The funds are provided as a grant. Homeowner does not have to repay this assistance. And the program would make the payment, the county makes the payment directly to the mortgage lender or servicer, or in the case of HOA, COA fees, the payments would be made directly to the homeowners association or condo association. How you go about applying for this assistance. We have an online application process. New stuff for us as a result of COVID that we just developed last year. The county's IT department was terrific. We worked with them and developed an online application portal. You see the links up here to it, and I'll share after the presentation. I can share these slides with Carrie if she wants to distribute them to everybody, so you'll have these links and you can get to the websites where you can find more information and then also actually access the portal itself. The application is open right now, and it's going to remain open until June 7th. What we're doing is we're kind of taking in applications, kind of a batch at a time, taking some in, working through them, and then presuming that there's still funds available, we would reopen the application again some point after June 7th. But I would encourage anyone who's interested or in need to go ahead and check out the website, the program information that's there at the link. Go ahead, submit an application at this time. It's open through June 7th. We are providing the funding on a first come, first qualified, first served type basis. So there's $6.5 million of this mortgage assistance funding available. But when it runs out, I don't know if there will be some future source for that. So I would encourage anyone who's in need to kind of to get on it today. Can I answer any questions about mortgage assistance before I move along to the rental assistance program? If not, I'll just keep moving, and I'll certainly be able to answer questions afterwards. So rental assistance. Again, the rental assistance component is administered by our partners at the Department of Community Services. It's emergency financial assistance to prevent eviction or utility disconnection. In the case of utilities, we're looking at the essentials: electric, water, gas, not messing around with phones or cable or other types of utility expenses. The program will provide up to 12 months of rental and utility assistance. This includes both rent that's in arrears and related late fees, and also includes some future months' rent as well. So unlike mortgage assistance, where mortgage assistance, we're just paying for the arrearages to get you out of trouble, in the case of rental assistance, we're able to assist both with the arrearages to bring you current, and then if there's a financial need, also able to provide some assistance towards future months' rent. Like mortgage assistance, the income limitation on this program is for households up to 80% of area median income. Again, the tenant household that we're assisting must have suffered some type of financial crisis due to COVID. A little more flexible than with the mortgage assistance in that it can either be some direct impact, like the loss of income or loss of employment, reduction in hours, like the mortgage program. But here with rental assistance, it could also be some type of indirect financial loss, like someone had to not give up their job or stay home from work in order to take care of children who could not attend school during the pandemic. It's a different funding source than the mortgage assistance funding, and there's kind of more flexibility in how we can interpret and deem someone eligible for the assistance due to financial loss. This also provides assistance to tenants who are currently at risk of homelessness. Again, the funds are provided as a grant to the tenant. There's no need to repay these dollars by the tenant. And the funds, again, would be paid to the landlord or the utility provider, direct payment from the county to the landlord or utility provider. The application process for the rental assistance funds, it's another online application portal. This one is operated by the Department of Community Services. Currently, the application is closed at the moment. They're working through the first batch of applications that they've taken in. However, they will be reopening it from June 7th to June 16th. Again, it's a first come, first qualified, first served type process. There is $45 million available there. So there's a substantial amount of money to get out there. Like I say, they're working through the first batch, but if anyone is in need of assistance, I would encourage you to go onto the website now, check it out. There's all kinds of information there. They've got FAQs, they have instructional videos that walk you through the application process. Check it out, see what type of documentation you need to pull together to apply, so that if you intend on applying come June 7th, you've got everything together and can get your application in, at the front of the line come June 7th. I think that was the end of my little spiel. So I'm gonna stop sharing here, and I'm happy to try to answer any questions if there are any.
That's wonderful. Does anybody have any questions for Carlos? Are you all receiving calls from families that are looking for funds for rental assistance, mortgage assistance? Yeah, I see Maria nodding.
Yes, we, as part of the Child Care Resources and Referral Network that we do have with the state of Florida, we do provide the resources to the families that call us in the call center here in the coalition. And definitely, yes, we have given, you know, the website and phone numbers and everything that we have available from Palm Beach County. Thank you for that. Parents really need it. They really need a lot of assistance with the rental specifically. So yes, we have been able to send them your way so they can, you know, fill out applications. Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic. Please, I encourage everyone to do so. If, you know, you encounter families that are in need of this assistance, the resources there, you know, we've got the money right now, and we really want to get it out to those in need.
Carlos, by any chance, do you have a flyer or something that has the links in the website all in one that we can share in our newsletter?
I will check it. So, and if so, I will send something to you after the meeting. Okay,
great.
Thank you.
Yes. Any other questions for Carlos? Wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing, Carlos. I'm sure if other folks have questions, if would you like to put your email in the chat, and perhaps they can email you or look up information on the website as well?
Yes, I will do so.
Wonderful. All right, so we're going to jump over to Valerie, and Valerie's going to talk about what summer programs we have available through the county and some scholarship information as well.
Thank you, Carrie. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay, everybody can see it. Everyone hears me. We're good to go. Wonderful. So as Carrie had mentioned, I'm Valerie Messineo. I'm the Senior Program Specialist with Palm Beach County Youth Services with the Outreach and Community Programming Division. So I oversee the Summer Camp Scholarship Program and the Summer Food Service Program. So I'm going to talk about each of them, but break them up separately because they are two different entities, and start with the Summer Camp Scholarship Program. So it provides full tuition and fees for children to attend summer camp. So parents or guardians are awarded the scholarship for their children, and then they select from a list of approved camp providers. So how do we get the approved camp providers? They submit an application through our database. It usually opens around November and stays open till January. And they have a list of required criteria and documentation that they need to submit. Any new location gets a pre-operational site visit so that we can see the facility and just know that there's no safety hazards and that it's going to meet the needs of our campers. And then this year, we also rolled out a new process to the providers where they presented their camps to us, and we evaluated them on 9 different areas. So activities that developed skills rather than just recreation, staff growth and development, character building and SEL support, a well-maintained facility, conflict management, marketing, nutritious meals, preventing the summer slide, and safety and sanitation. If they met all of our requirements in these 9 areas, they were approved and were listed on our directory. And any that weren't were provided with support and recommendations so that they could reach the requirements. We didn't want to turn anybody away. We want we want our camps to be the best that they can be. So we want to be able to link them up with other agencies or entities that can help them to get there. So then we took all of these presentations that we received and we put them on our website. So families that may be new to our scholarship program, or maybe their camp wasn't active this year, or they wanted to try a new camp, they could see more and get more of a behind the scenes look at the camps. Because previously we had a directory and it would give you name, contact information, dates and times that they were available, but that was about it. This really goes into those 9 areas because it's the presentation that they gave us. So it gives a lot more information to parents. So once those camps were approved and listed on our portal, then the parent application opens up. So that opened up in January and it actually just closed on May 7th. And parents have required documentation that they need to provide. So the applicant needs to give their ID, the child's birth certificate, and then also their proof of income showing that they're within 150% of the federal poverty guidelines. Once all of that information is inputted, then they select their top 2 choices from the list of approved providers. So eligibility criteria for campers, they must be a Palm Beach County resident. So this can't be a child who's visiting grandma who lives in Palm Beach County, but the rest of the year they live in Ohio. The only time that something similar to that would be accepted is if maybe grandma or dad or somebody has partial custody of the child that says they must live in Palm Beach County over the summer. If they can give us court documentation showing, yes, they might be enrolled in school in Ohio, but legally they need to be down here all summer, that would qualify them because they would be a summer resident of Palm Beach County. So they have to be 5 years old, enrolled, or have completed VPK by the start of the summer. Then they cannot be older than 14 years of age by June 1st. This summer in particular, our start date starts a little bit later. Summer doesn't start until June 21st, so it gets a bit confusing because we have kids that their birthday may fall after, but the cutoff for both the 5-year-old and the 14 is June 1st, and that's consistent each year. So the only time that the 14-year age does not apply is for certain specialized populations. So homeless youth affiliated with foster care, DJJ, or has a special needs diagnosis approved by YSD staff, they can go up to age 17. So in our policy, it says special needs diagnosis as approved by YSD staff. So I had asked, okay, what does that mean? That really doesn't give us a lot of information. And it's almost brought on purpose so that we can allow it to apply to as many kids as possible. So we accept any campers that have IEPs, 504 plans, or receive SSI benefits. So if they can provide us with that proof, then they would get that extension up to age 17. So another way that campers can apply is through an agency application. And agencies are able to submit from January when it opens, but they don't have a closing deadline. Where our parents closed on May 7th, they cannot apply anymore. Agencies can continue until we run out of spots. So our 4 of the specialized populations, homeless, foster care, DJJ, or the Bridges Summer Reading Program, those campers that are working with an agency, the agency has a sign-on to the portal and they would do the application for the child. So those are actually exempt from income guidelines because there's agreements between our funders and these agencies saying, okay, if you're providing support, then we'll make sure to pay for these children. So we've used the term specialized population a few times, and I want to provide some clarity because different populations have different exemptions. For all 5, homeless, foster care, DJJ, Bridges Summer Reading, or special needs, they can go up to age 17. But it's the first 4 that have the income guideline exemption. And that's because of that agency affiliation. So this shows the specialized population of campers that we had last year. We're still processing all of our applications, so I don't know what our numbers are going to be this year. And then of all the scholarships we give out, about 20% of kids don't come. So we won't have accurate numbers until the end of the summer. But last year we had 2,401 campers attend, and 220 of those fell into our specialized population categories. So 2 were with Bridges Summer Reading, 16 were DJJ, 57 were foster, 134 were homeless, and 11 attended special needs camps, but there were 71 other campers who identified with a specialized population. So they had an IEP or 504, but they didn't need to go to a special needs camp. They went to one of the other types of camps. And we have regular specialty sports and educational enrichment camps. So I'll break that down a little bit because I feel like there's just categories and categories with all the things that we do, and sometimes the terms get a little confusing. So the different types of camps that we provide, we have educational enrichment camps. So they're required to provide 50% or more of their curriculum with an academic focus. They have a certified teacher on staff, and they provide pre and post testing. Specialty camps can focus on a specialty or area more so than a regular camp would do. So there's really no limit to what they want their specialty to be. So we get dance camps, performing arts camps, technology, STEM, cheer, cosmetology, literature. We've had leadership camps. So they just have to say, we're not just a regular camp, we're technology, because we focus even more of our curriculum on technology. Then we have our special needs camps. They provide support to campers on the autism spectrum and also related disabilities that require supervised daytime care. This year, we have 2 special needs camps, Our Sacred Academy and Connections Education Center. And our last category is regular camps. That just kind of is all encompassing everything that doesn't fall into one of the other specified areas would fall into a regular camp. And as of today, we have 111 approved camps for 2021. I don't know how many we'll have when we actually start. We sometimes lose camps as summer approaches, but as of right now, we're at 111. So one of our main areas of focus is decreasing the summer slide. And our educational enrichment camps really focus on that. But more so than ever, we want to implement a little bit of an academic focus because we've got the COVID slide as well. I had found some national statistics that say the summer slide accounts for 5 to 15% of reading loss of reading gains each summer. Then with the COVID slide, kids are starting the school year with only 70% of the learning gains from the previous year. So instead of 5 to 15, you're looking at 30% loss of educational gains. So it's really significant. These are actually the post-test scores from our camps last year. And it shows that even with a lot of our camps being virtual or having limited, just limited everything, last year was very difficult, our kids still maintained or increased their test scores. So if they got a 95%, that means 95% of our kids didn't decrease their test scores at all. So that's really significant. It shows that our EEC camps are doing a really nice job. So what to expect for summer 2021? We're piloting a scholastic literacy program, and this is for our non-EEC camps so that we can try to get an hour of literacy curriculum into all of the camps. So we applied for some funding and we got it. And so we're working with 20 camps to get them trained on this specific curriculum and see how it goes. And then if it goes well, hopefully we can give it to any of the camps that we get next year. We also have a reduced summer, just like everybody else does. There's only 7 weeks of summer this year as opposed to our normal 10. We're only offering in-person camp. And then we also have our virtual Super Summer Spelling Bee, which will be on July 21st. And that is a Kahoot event. So if you've never played Kahoot, it's really fun. So that is summer camp in a nutshell. Next, I'm going to shift over to the summer food service program. And then at the end, we can go through any questions that you might have with summer camp. So the summer food service program provides free meals and snacks to low-income school-age children during the summer months, so June to August. The program is funded through the USDA, and then it's administered through the Florida Department of Agriculture. And then we're seen as a sponsor. So Youth Services, Outreach and Community Programming is the sponsor agency, and then we work with the sites. So we enter into agreements with the sites to receive vended meals. And I'll touch on what that means too. Eligible sites within a community receive and serve meals in a safe and supervised setting. Sites are located within 5 miles of a school with at least 50% free and reduced lunch. And eligible children are 18 years of age or younger, or people of all ages with physical or mental disabilities who participate in special school programs for the disabled. And that definition came directly from the Florida Department of Agriculture. So where we serve, even with the pandemic last year, we were still able to increase the number of cities and zip codes that we fed. We had 34 new sites and a partnership with the Palm Beach County Library System. So we served at all 17 of their libraries. We served 3,500 individual children in 33 zip codes. And then 27 of those sites were part of our summer camp scholarship program. So what type of sites do we sponsor? We have churches, daycares, schools, parks, apartment complexes, and more. We're always looking for new sites to add. It's a free service for the site. They just need to be trained on the paperwork and the policies, and then they provide the free food to the children in their communities. And then they work with one of our monitors to get the paperwork turned in, and we come out and we watch the food service, make sure that everybody's following the rules. So in 2021, we have 2 vendors, which is very new. Normally we only have the one. So this year we're gonna have 1 vendor providing cold meals. This is like your traditional, fresh, cold meal, a sandwich and some sides. And this is really best for sites that have kids at their facilities every day, our camps. If a church has a week-long vacation Bible study or something, that would qualify and they could get free meals for the whole week. The other option is shelf-stable. So shelf-stable meals, I can tell you we're gonna do it at the library. So they're gonna pick 1 day a week that they wanna serve, and their staff will be trained and they'll have all their meals delivered, and then they'll serve 7 days worth of meals at one time. And because of these waivers that are in effect with the Florida Department of Agriculture, a parent can come in. They don't even have to bring their child. They just bring proof that they have a child. So it can be a birth certificate or shot records or a school ID or something like that, and show that they have a child, and they can get breakfast and lunch for 7 days that they can then take home. So it's a really great program and really convenient for parents because not everybody can go and sit where the meals are every day. So this is a nice alternative. So I'm going to send the information over to Carrie so that she can get it over to you, but this is all of our contact information. Each of the programs has their own program coordinator, so someone that directly works with the sites. And that's Jacqueline Burke for the Summer Camp Scholarship Program and Gus Wessel for the Summer Feeding Program. And then you can always contact me as well. Okay, so are there any questions about either program?
If you have any questions, you could go ahead and take yourself off mute.
I had one question. This is Sue Davis-Killian. You had said that there were 2 special needs camps. One was Our Sacred Academy. What was the other one?
Connections Education.
Connections Education. Where is that one? Do you know?
I can find out. Hold on 1 second. They're in West Palm Beach off Congress Ave.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Any other questions for Valerie? Go ahead, Jean.
Would you again repeat the over 18 eligible to receive the lunch?
For the summer food, yeah, absolutely. Let me find the language in here so I can tell you. It says, people of all ages with physical or mental disabilities who participate in special school programs for the disabled.
So that would take it up to 22 then.
Yeah, as long as they're affiliated with one of the programs, then it would go all the way up. So if it was a parent picking up food for their child, let's say they decide to go to the library and their child is going to be over 18, they might just have to bring some sort of proof that their child who's over 18 is affiliated with one of these programs, and then they would qualify for that take-home food as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And if any of your camps want to be summer food sites, you can just contact us and contact Gus, and he can get you the application to do so, and we can come out and feed your family. Well, your kids, not your parents, unfortunately.
I have a quick question. This is Amy from Siegel. Last year, we kind of did that, but we did it and distributed the meals to our food pantry people because we actually do a food pantry every week. Can we do that again? Because our camp's going to be virtual. And so some of our parents come to our pantry, and then we also have public that come, and we got permission to distribute as long as people had kids.
Yeah, so that wouldn't be a problem as long as, if you've worked with us in the past, you know that we just have to know the date and the time of service, because we have to give that to the state. So if you do this same, let's say your food pantry is every Tuesday from 10 to 12, we would just input that into our system, and then the parents could get food from the food pantry and the kids could all get food from our program, especially since we've got the shelf stable again this year. So I think you have Gus's contact information because I know we worked with you last year, but I can ask him to reach out to you as well to make it easier.
I'll reach out to him.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Yeah, no problem.
Well, that's great. If anybody has any questions, you have Valerie's information. Thank you, Valerie. Thank you again, Carlos, for joining us. It really makes you think how lucky we are to live in Palm Beach County. We have such amazing services for our families. So we don't step outside of our little bubbles sometimes to learn about all the things available. So thank you for spending the time with us today. And does anybody else have any other comments or want to share any information about programs and services going on this summer? Thanks, Valerie. And I'll share the slides for both presentations for the group. All right.
Carrie, so I have a question. I'm just curious if those on the call today could share, if they're offering summer programs, what type of summer programs are they? In person? Are they still virtual? What types of skill offerings are we, talking about? Are we talking about vocational training? Are we talking about social rec? So I'd love to hear from the group to hear what's going on in our backyard.
Linda, you took yourself off mute. Would you like to go first?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Well, we do have a really great summer camp program, but unfortunately right now we are full and we're not taking any additional children into our summer program. But in addition to our camp, we do First of all, we are located in Sunrise, but we serve Palm Beach, Broward, and Dade. And what we have to offer that's very unique is extended or overnight respite. So respite is a very important program for our families. And not only can we offer respite for a few hours during the day, but a family that wants to take advantage of a whole day to themselves, or an overnight, a weekend, or more extended time, we're able to provide that respite. And we actually have a grant through the Florida state allocation that provides some funding for that. So respite is definitely something that we offer all year round. We are open, by the way, 365 days a year, 24/7. And in addition to respite, we also have case management. So anybody knows about that's looking for assistance in finding services, we provide intensive case management through our Connections and Family Preservation Program. Once the summer is over and our 8-week summer camp experience is done, we'll go back to all of our clubs and classes. But I think for most of you providers that are located in Palm Beach and your families, our extended and weekend respite is really something that everybody should really know about and take advantage of. And I would just encourage everyone to contact me. I'll give you my phone number, and I'll assist families through the process. So my number is 954-315-8664, and I'd be so happy to assist. And I am still doing some Zoom support groups as well. So we've been offering Zoom since the beginning of the pandemic, and we have a transitional residential support group that I invite anybody to tell their clients about to contact me. And that's a wonderful group to assist families through a really challenging process, as well as other parent support groups. So we have parents from all over attending our support groups, and we're going to do some on Zoom and some in person. So please reach out.
This is to, again, Linda, since I don't know which organization goes with which name, I can see the names on Zoom, but which organization are you, Linda?
I am going to rename myself so you can see it, but I am with JAFCO.
Okay, thank you.
JAFCO. Yeah, and for the purposes of the program I'm here to discuss, it's JAFCO Children's Ability Center, because JAFCO does have a few programs, but for the purposes of this group of providers, it's JAFCO Children's Ability Center.
Great, thank you.
Go ahead, Jean.
Now that everybody's advertising, Family Care Council has voted to have 2 scholarships up to $500 to go to Family Cafe. The only requirement is you have to be on the waiver or receiving services, and just call APD or Millery can direct them to the right place and the right forms. But we just approved that. Cafe is June 11th through 13th. Thank you.
Thanks, Jean. A wonderful conference if you haven't been. What other programs? Amy?
Yeah, so I said it a little bit earlier that we're doing a virtual summer camp for middle and high schoolers who have special needs. It is an enrichment, social type of camp. We don't pretend that we're going to do academics with them because the kids work hard all year. It's primarily our students, but we do open it up to other students. And it's just 4 weeks this summer. Normally we do have an in-person camp that is open to any student in the county who kind of meets the criteria for our school. Again, a special needs, intellectual or developmental disability. And usually they always have an IEP and usually on Access Points curriculum. But we also, our supported employment department is putting together their schedule for the summer. So there will be some pre-employment skills groups and some other things in the works. And I will share that as soon as I have that information. I don't know what their schedule is going to be. And they do often open their programs up to other students in our community that are not Siegel Academy students. We've done stuff at Pahokee High School, Palm Beach Lakes High School. So we do programs for transition and employment skills. Oh, and anyone, if you're interested, can call me or email me. I'll put my email in the chat.
Great, Amy, thank you.
Keith has his hand raised.
I was wondering, I saw it over in the chat and I was wondering which box it belonged to. Go ahead, Keith.
Hi there, this is Keith Berkney. I'm with Employee U, and we do have lots of openings still for our career camps this summer. They are virtual, but they go about 2 or 3 weeks. They have a couple different options. They are all for students that go through vocational rehabilitation, but they earn up to $250 with the career camp. So that is something that usually gets people pretty excited. But we also have a lot of guest speakers come on and talk about their careers and how they got where they were, where they are, their background and such. So it's a lot of exploratory to see what's out there. And then if they want to try to do more, we're doing on-the-job trainings in Palm Beach County, where we're having them come out and work at different businesses while our company is paying their wages and covering their insurance and such. So we got lots of bandwidth down in Palm Beach. We got a few staff members that have quite a bit of room in their caseload. So if you have anybody that's interested, you can check out our website. It's employeu.org. So EMPLOY, then the letter U.org. There's a contact us part there, and there's a form where you can refer somebody, or they can just go on there and put their information in, and it brings it to our relationship management team, who will contact them back and guide them through the process. So that's it for us. Thank you.
Awesome, Kate. Thanks, Keith.
So I'll go ahead and share something, and then Carrie, I'm going to let you give a little more detail. But Unicorn Children's Foundation, we moved into a new location in East Downtown Boca Raton February 1st of 2020, left our offices March 11th, continued to pay exorbitant amounts of rent throughout the pandemic. Our intention was to open the Unicorn Connection Center, and we picked the location because it was ideally situated near fixed bus routes, so transportation would not be a barrier to accessing services. It is also, we wanted to be that one-stop place where families could go, and we would have personnel on hand to help them navigate a very complex journey as they move through different stages of life. We also were looking at the space as a means of opening 2 social enterprises to create sustainable revenue going forward. So on one end of the facility, we have our Special Perks Cafe. On the other end, we have our Uniquely Gifted Boutique. The space is there, it's great. We've not been back, we're starting to transition back. We've done all of our programs virtually in terms of vocational training. So we have a barista training program where our students are earning industry standard certifications that stays aligned with our Special Perks Cafe. We have some retail training going on in partnership with Ken's crew, which stays strategically aligned with our intentions of opening that retail store on site. And then we've had a variety of different enrichment, social, recreational types of programs. All have been done virtually. I will say the silver lining of COVID is it's really allowed us to expand our outreach. We have participants in 13 states and even in Canada. We have instructors who are teaching classes from England, from France. So it's really been, that's been a nice component. At the beginning or through the beginning, middle, whatever stage of COVID we were in, it seemed like engagement was really hard. It was, we had a lot of great classes, but getting parents or getting these youth to want to sit in a Zoom class was a real challenge. And I don't know what all of your experiences are, with that, if you're starting to see people are just desperate for programming, and so they're starting to reemerge. So I'm curious to hear about that. But we are planning mid-June to transition to very small in-person groups. And I'll let Carrie explain a little more detail, but when she's done, I'd love to hear what everybody's experiences are. Like, you know, are you seeing engagement coming back, or are you seeing some hesitation? But go ahead, Carrie.
Thanks, and I see Sue nodding her head, and I know, Christy, you wanted to share as well. So we're going to start with just 2 small groups of 4 on campus to get our programming rolling, just 1 day a week on Tuesdays from 9 to 1 o'clock. So if you could kind of picture a mini day program for those ages 14 and up. And we're going to focus on music, performing arts, puppetry, improv, yoga. So we have a nice course group going on with some contracted instructors. So we're going to dip our toe in the water and try and get going with our new COVID protocols, and then hope to expand to include those employment programs and other programming as well. So we're offering our virtual classes and now our in-person classes at the same time. So wish us luck. This is going to be new, but you all have probably been there already trying to get things going. Sue, are you kind of in that position as well?
We are just next Monday opening our doors to our first in-person class. Woo! Everybody's so excited. Over the summer, most of what we have is for adults. So that makes it a little easier because they've all had the opportunity to be vaccinated if they wish. So the really tricky part is going to come in the fall when we start our monthly learning program, which is kids 3 through adults. So we haven't made any decisions about how exactly we're going to do that yet, partly because we'll kind of wait and see what happens over the next few months. But we are pretty much determined to have that in person because I can't do another year of Zoom. So, and I don't think our parents can either. So, and we figure if the kids can go back to school, then they can come back here and we can, you know, at least follow the same protocols as school does. So.
Great. Thanks for sharing, Sue. Christy, did you want to share as well?
Yeah, we've really, I mean, we had a lot of success with Zoom since we started last March in 2020 with our adult programs and our school, and then our recreation also. We've been back in person since August of 2020. We really just put the safety precautions in place and the COVID protocols and everything. It's been really successful. It's hard because you are spacing out people to allow for social distancing. So that does limit the amount of people that we've had able to come back. We are currently on basically a wait list for people wanting to come back. So it's great that they're wanting to come back and aren't just being, you know, used to being home. They're excited to come back. We've had a lot of people get vaccinated. We've been able to hold a couple clinics to allow staff and clients and families to get vaccinated, which was great. But I mean, all of our clients have been amazing with wearing their masks, washing hands, social distancing. So it's been really successful. And so we're kind of just now navigating like the next step with CDC release, releasing some of the restrictions of where that puts us kind of next. So, but it's been good.
Great news. Anybody else?
I'm curious, for those who are doing in-person programs, are you limiting visitors or, you know, reducing staff while you've got clients in session?
So part of the protocols that we did put in place right in the beginning was basically the staff that goes into the program area is the staff that needs to be in the program area. We try to eliminate even like participants switching classes or staff switching rooms every day. We do keep track of who's in each room. And then we really aren't allowing outside visitors during program hours unless it's unavoidable. We are pretty lucky though. We have like even our funders and stuff who do like the tours, we have two-way mirrors. So we're able to see into the program area. But yeah, for the most part, we're trying to limit, and we're still doing a full screening of everyone that comes in with temperatures and then a health screening to go along with that.
Mm-hmm.
Linda?
Yeah, at this point in time, as of May, it's our agency policy to let all parents back in the building. So all of our parents are back. You know, I'm seeing it's slow for them to come back. I'm trying to resume in-person support groups, and that's a little slow, but that's the direction. Our children have been getting in-person services for many, many, many months. I have no idea what month we started. And of course, like everyone else, we, you know, did smaller groups and all that. But we've done a good job with making sure that as many of our staff that want to be vaccinated are, so I would say probably 90% of our staff are vaccinated. We were doing weekly COVID testing. Now we're doing monthly COVID testing, even if you've been vaccinated. So we're providing that testing on campus. And, you know, everything has been going very well for us.
That's a great resource to have the testing available on site.
Oh, so
I'm
easy.
sure staff appreciate it.
Yeah, right. Just come out of your office and get tested, and a day later you get your results. It's been very good. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's hard.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So we don't have a topic planned for next month. If anybody has any ideas of topics that they're interested in, I know we're rolling into August. We're also going to pull down some of the topics from that were previously recommended as part of our coalitions and our groups. So our task forces. So we'll let you know what the topic is. For everybody that's starting summer programs, we wish you well, and please keep in touch with all the success stories and what has worked so that we can collaborate and do this together. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Have a great afternoon, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
See you next month.
Bye.